Hi beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a lovely day, and today we're gonna do a get ready with me. We're gonna do a full face get ready with me. I don't really have anything particularly I want to talk about. There's a couple things in my mind and it's been a while since I did a full face get ready with me. So I figured we could do that today together, and let's go ahead and get into it. It's not that complicated, you know. I do have a small business, theopencrib.com. I'll leave a link down below because you know I gotta promote it. It's like, you know, if I'm not gonna promote it, it's not gonna be promoted. So let's get started. I'm gonna start priming firstly with the Peach Slices Gold Glow Priming Serum with 24 karat gold that we got in a subscription box a while back. Because I'm gonna try to do dewier skin today. You know, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a dewier skin. I don't know, I feel like, okay, so the dewy skin, a lot of people look good with it, right? And for primarily, it feels like Gen Z is really hyping the dewy natural skin look. But for me, when I do it, I feel like, I feel like it makes me look older sometimes. Because I feel like the shininess kind of sinks into my lines. So I'm going to try it. But I think I need to find what parts of my face I want more matte than others. Because when I do it all dewy, I feel kind of like you're just seeing my imperfections. Next, I'm using this Makeup Mario SurrealSkin foundation because it's supposed to like be luminous too. But also people say this has like little fine things of mica in it, so there's technically glitter in here. I don't particularly notice that on my skin, but people have said that before. So anyways, let's catch up a little bit. So I've been doing my makeup and misfortune series here on my channel. We have 2 episodes up at the time you're seeing this video. And I've already started the research for my 3rd one. And I have to say, I enjoy doing the research and telling you guys a story and doing my makeup so I'm not just staring at the camera reading a script, you know? But some people are like, why are you have eye makeup on when you're, why aren't you doing your eye makeup on camera for these videos? And like, well, one, there's like a gajillion videos of me doing my eye makeup on camera if you want to see it. Like, it's on the internet. But also, I take notes. Like, there's a lot of dates involved and everything, and I don't want to get things wrong. So I take a bunch of notes. Like, I do all my research, and then I start making like a script and like little bullet point notes to things I want to talk about, and dates and stuff that things came out, like whether it's a movie star, I need to know what movie came out what year. So I have a bunch of notes for my story. And if I'm doing my eye makeup and my eyes mostly closed, focused on blending my eyeshadow, it's harder for me to like do my makeup, see the bullet notes, all that. So I've just been having my eye makeup on when I do those videos. It works for me pretty well. And then I still am visually doing something that you can see. So that's why my eye makeup hasn't been done in those videos. Those videos are flopping so hard, especially for the amount of work that goes into them. They're flopping hard, but I thoroughly enjoy them, and I'm hoping like the more I do, maybe one will kind of catch on and people can go back and watch the old ones. So I'm like really putting a lot of faith in those doing well, but also I enjoy them, so it works out just fine. So anyways, that's that series. How's it going? It's not going well, but I'm just hoping it picks up, It's a new concept, new thing. I know there's people who do true crime, and this, depending on the story, may have crime involved. It may just be a sad story. And I know that people don't want to be depressed when they come onto YouTube. And that's not necessarily my goal. I think you can just really learn a lot from stories. So yeah, I'm enjoying them. I think the research part of it and making my notes and everything is fun. Adding in the pictures on the screen when I'm editing the video and everything is nice. So yeah, I'm having a good time. Whether it's paying off or not, I'm having a good time with it. I also made a huge life move. I mean, it seems huge for me, even though people do it every day. But for me, because I can't math, it's hard. So I applied for college. I don't know if I got in, okay? We haven't got to that point yet. I just applied. And I'm someone who's not, again, my brain just can't math. It's something I'm going to struggle with. But you know, I figured I'm still trying to make YouTube work. I'm still trying to make my small business work. I'm trying to use some equipment and outsource to other businesses, like custom products for them to sell as well, with like the laser engraver. And I'm still trying to do the Depop. I have some cute clothes listed on my Depop. So I have a whole bunch of side things going on. But you know what? At the end of the day, my bills need to be paid. And I have 10 rescue kitties to take care of. So I figured it'd be good to have a degree in something that's more stable. The economy sucks right now. So all of my little side ventures are not doing well because people just don't have the money. And I completely understand that. And I'm not even mad about it. But I thought if I applied for school and I get a degree, at least I would have a steady backup plan situation. And I also started building, like redoing my resume because when my computer crashed a couple months ago, I lost it. But, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to just build my new resume up and, you know, maybe get a regular job. Don't know. Like, I've just been thinking of what makes sense long term. Like, I can get by day to day with all my little side stuff going on, and I can, you know, try to make it work and live day to day. But let's think about long-term goals here, because I'm only 28, and let's say I live a normal lifespan. That's a long ways to go that I'm gonna need to know what I'm doing with my life. So I thought it'd be good, even if I get my degree and I don't like use it, at least I'll have it, which is great, you know. I think long term it's good to have like options as far as like, okay, all your other endeavors failed. Here's something stable that, you know, if you find a job in it, it'll last a long time. So I think that's going to be fine for me. And I don't think it's going to hurt to go to school and earn that, especially because most of it's going to be online. So as long as I can work it in my regular schedule, which is already tight as is, it's not going to hurt. So I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. It took me a long time to like actually apply for school. You know, I've been talking about it for a long time, but it took me a long time to actually do it. And now I feel like I have to justify it to myself, because everyone I've told so far, like my real life, is always like, but you have all these other things going on. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm kind of failing at it. And they're like, well, no, you just need to hold strong and keep going. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate you being encouraging in my current endeavors, but let's think about forever. You know, let's think about forever. So there's that. Also, this sucks. I spent all day yesterday, well, not all day, but several hours yesterday in the ER with my darling husband because he was reframing our front door in our house and he needed to cut the pieces to size. And I guess he was cutting at an angle for the angles of the door frame, and he ended up cutting into his wrist. And I didn't know. There was no yelling, there was no screaming. I was vacuuming the office, and when I cut the vacuum off, I hear him in the other room, right outside the room, saying, "Don't freak out. This is not as bad as you think it is." And I'm over here thinking, what did he break? And it was himself. So he's a very stubborn man, as I think most men are. Also, I'm just doing a very mild amount of setting powder, except under my eyes where I want it to not crease. He's a very stubborn man. I could see his bone. So I told him a bunch of times to go to the hospital, and he refused. He said, "We know a nurse." So I called them, and they said, "You should probably go to the hospital, but if you want me to come over and sew you up so you don't have to pay the stupid, ridiculous hospital fee, I can do that." And so I patched him up as best I could because he would not listen to me about just going to the hospital and get it done and be over with. I patched him up as best I could. Like, tried to close it as best I could because I knew he needed stitches the second I saw it. And we waited. I fed him, made him drink a bunch of water and stuff so he wouldn't be passing out from it or anything. And we waited, and then they came over, and they were willing to sew them up then and there. Is it probably the smartest, best idea in the world? No. But again, the hospital is terrible. If you don't live in America, just average hospital bill has a comma in it. Even if you have health insurance, your copay is usually like a lot, especially for emergency room visits, especially if it's not your first one. So, yeah. And then when they said they'd have to lidocaine, when they told Cortland that they had to lidocaine him and then sew him up and everything, Cortland got scared when they mentioned x-ray, because I could see his bone before it swole, the wound swole up on itself. And I told him I could see his bone. He didn't look, he saw the cut, but he didn't look in it like I looked in it to see how everything was. And when they mentioned they're gonna lidocaine him, sew it back up, but he may need x-ray, Cortland finally listened about going to the hospital hours later. So I took him to the hospital. We spent a couple hours in there. You know, going in the hospital is mostly just waiting anyways. The stuff itself didn't take too long. Got x-rays done. Sewed him up, closed. Which honestly was the weirdest part of all, is they got x-rays and they sewed him closed before we got the x-ray results. So if he did cut into his bone or got a bone fragment there, they would have to open it back up again to get it out. So like, why did they sew him closed before we got the x-ray results? I don't know. But regardless, he's good. 6 stitches, and we were this nurse practitioner's first stitch job. Woo! Yeah, so that was my day yesterday. It really threw me through a loop. But he's okay. He's doing fine. I gave him a bottle of ibuprofen with his lunch today, take with him to work, and should be good to go. Didn't need antibiotics or anything because there wasn't any bone problems, which is nice, but I thought he was going to have to call out of work today, but thankfully he was fine, good to go. He wasn't, you know, in as much pain as I thought he was going to be. I thought, like, his arm was going to be swollen and stiff and sore and hurting, but apparently he's okay. And he might even bring home a cat today. Not for us to keep. I'm at my max limit here. Not for us to keep, but because there's one at his job that there's like a couple strays and they try to TNR him when they can. But this one's different, doesn't match the pack. And he's like desperate to talk to people. Like, you know, usually feral cats, they're feral. They don't want to mess with people. They're on their whole thing. They're community cats and they do their own things. And once they're fixed and everything, you can release them back, and that's fine. This one's different. He showed up out of the group randomly. They think someone dropped him off there because they saw other cats in the neighborhood. This one loves people, wants to be pet, needs to be fed by people. He's not a good hunter. And then some of the people he works with noticed that he's losing a lot of hair. Cortland texted me today and said he doesn't know if it's like normal shedding because summer's coming or if it's like a medical condition. I asked him if it's falling out in clumps, but we don't know yet. So we may have to find a home for another cat, which I'm glad they're not out there suffering. I'm glad we can take them in, have them fixed, and then give them a new home. But it just sucks that people just drop off animals, you know? I'm at the point in my life where like I don't need $1 million. I don't need luxury things. I don't need any of that. Would I like spooky house decor? Yeah, of course. But like, I don't need fancy shit in my life. I would like to just be financially stable enough where I can, you know, go to the grocery store, fill up a cart, and not worry about it. Like, that's the dream, you know? And then I could also possibly have time enough to volunteer with rescues and help other cats and animals. I do love puppies too, but I'm really a cat person. And there's a local rescue that I know I could work with because we know them pretty well. And the owner of the rescue as well. We know them pretty well. That I know I could work with. It's just right now I don't have the time. Like, I'm running a small business. I'm running a YouTube channel and trying to do a reselling thing on the side. As well as working with other local businesses to try to do business for them, and a little bit of design work here and there as it comes. So I have a lot going on, so I don't have time right now to volunteer, but I would love to do that. I volunteered at places before, but it's been quite a while, and that's just something I think would be very fulfilling for me. You know, see animals going to a loving home instead of out on the streets or living in a cage waiting for their family to come to them. Like, I would love to help that process. Unfortunately, though, there's no like places that pay for doing that. It's all volunteer work. So it's not necessarily a job. It would be more of a hobby and a passion, I guess. Although I gotta say, my TikTok feed has a lot of animals in it, and I love, you know, raccoon videos and cat videos and stuff. But along with like liking that content and watching those videos, I get so many sad animal things on my feed that just like ruin my day. I just wish I could curate my TikTok feed to only be happy animal videos. You know, like, I know I don't have that option, but I wish I did. But anyways, that's what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about like, what am I gonna do with my life and what would make me feel fulfilled? And I think doing with my life is trying to get everything, you know, continue to do what I'm doing. Just being slightly more successful at it, you know, having a backup plan with a degree. And then also, like, if I could pick anything for my life, I would, you know, of course I would pick animals. But, you know. Also, little Miss Akasha here has to go back to the vet this week, which we're not looking forward to. But, so, she got diagnosed with officially feline herpes, right? Which makes a lot of sense. The first two vets we talked to didn't say that. They just said she has a upper respiratory infection or she has an eye infection. We've had her treated for both of those things, but we finally had her diagnosed with feline herpes, which apparently pretty common. However, hers is bad. Like, she doesn't like to eat. She's never liked to eat. She's all skin and bones. She's a scrawny little thing. If we have to feed her, I would try to feed her wet food because she loves chicken. She barely eats as is. And if we have to feed her or she's hungry, she'll just cry until we pick her up, hold her, love on her, and then rub her back while she eats. Like, otherwise she won't eat. She's a very finicky cat. But her medication that she takes multiple times a day, I know, Kasha, suppresses her appetite even more. So we've had to like struggle with that. So she's on eye drops twice a day, which are so expensive. They're so expensive. We have to drive an hour to go get them, but they're not helping. Like, they were supposed to help keep inflammation down, keep her flare-ups from coming up, but she keeps having flare-ups with her problems and she's getting congested, her appetite suppressed again. And they gave us a prescription for some pills that we ordered, but she hates taking the pills. She'll bite us as hard as she can, like almost take our finger off hard if we give her the pill. And then we tried to liquefy the pill in like some chicken broth that's safe for cats. And she's not really doing well with that either. It's still a struggle and a fight. Eye drops isn't as much of a fight. She's gotten kind of used to it. But she's still struggling with that. And then they had get us some doxycycline. That's what it's called, doxycycline. And that was the best thing she really responded to. Like, it really decongested all of it. But they don't want to give us more of it without another doctor visit. So we're going to go back in there. I don't know why we have to go back in there just to get the thing that was helping her when she's already had a diagnosis. But yeah, I mean, if that was the thing that was helping her, I'm gonna need more of that. Okay, I had to go feed her because she needed to eat. But yeah, we take her back to the vet this week so we can have her checked up again. I honestly think it's a ploy to get us to pay for another vet visit. But whatever, we gotta do what we gotta do, make her feel better. It's also come to my attention that most cats who have feline herpes don't take eye drops twice a day. So like, I don't know if maybe I should get another opinion from a different vet, because the first two didn't know she had herpes. This one knew that she did and confirmed it for us. But apparently eye drops are a good suppressor, but most people don't have to take them twice a day and they can get them more accessibly. When ours is on some weird kind of eye treatment that's like really hard to get. We have to go to compounding pharmacy for that. So I don't know what's going on with that, but like the moment I heard that most people who have cats that have feline herpes don't have to do medication every day, only when they're having flare-ups, made me feel like weird. Like, why does she have to be on it every day? Like, I'm sure she doesn't have it worse than anybody else. They all have it, but she has to have medication twice a day, plus special like gel in her food for her immune system, plus pills to suppress any flare-ups. which is like all the time. She's always having flare-ups. Like, I just don't understand why she has to do those things and most other cats don't. But anyways, that's what's been going on with me. I wanted to see Scream last weekend. The new one. But I held off. And I'm glad I did now that I, you know, wasn't going to be able to make the movie with the whole Stitches thing. But also, last time I saw Scream, like, I saw it that weekend, and like the next week it came out on Paramount Plus. So I feel like I could just wait this one out, especially since it has like mixed reviews, and watch it at home. It's kind of hard to do because like I want to see the new Scream. I want to know what it's about, you know? I like the Scream series. I pre-ordered that stupid popcorn bucket that's not going to be here till September. But like I guess I don't have to see every movie when it first comes out, you know? I will probably go see the new John Wick when it comes out though. Even though at the last one they like throw him off the building or whatever, there's no way someone would survive that. I don't care if he is John Wick. Nobody would survive that fall. I'm really excited to film my next Makeup and Misfortune video tomorrow. I wanted to start the series, right? Like, so the series I thought I was going to start off with, I thought I was going to start off with Jean Harlow. But honestly, I thought that one would be kind of a short video. She died very young. And there's not like the most bountiful information about it. Like, there's plenty of info about her life in stardom and everything. But I didn't think I had all the necessary resources to make that like a really good video. So I started off with Jean Tierney instead. And that one was like my favorite story to tell. Especially because I don't think she's as well known as like a Marilyn Monroe or Rita Hayworth, a Marlene Dietrich, anything like that. But I think maybe if I do a more popular star people are more familiar with these days, the video might perform better. But also I think I'm a little bit too passionate about Marilyn to talk about Marilyn without absolutely losing my mind. Because I feel very passionately about her, in case we didn't know this already. I'm very protective over her name and image. Like, if someone's wearing a shirt with Marilyn Monroe and like tattoos and stuff like that, I can't deal with it. It makes me ragingly angry, mostly because that's not the way she wanted to be perceived as, you know, and I don't think it's anyone's right to change her image. She was not, it's not Mickey Mouse, you know, it's not like a fake character. Like, she was a human being and she deserves respect. So distorting her image to be all like gangster doesn't sit right with me. So I feel like if I covered Marilyn, I would be a little bit too passionate about it and I would come off as unhinged, which would I care? Probably not. So I don't know if I necessarily, I know it would be the most popular one of the videos so far. Like, I don't think that video will flop. I think it'll do well because it has Marilyn Monroe's name on it. But is it worth it? No. And would I want to see people who don't know anything about her leaving nasty comments about her? No. It's not something I want to see ever. Like, that stupid Blonde movie got rated worst movie of 2022 by some film show thing. I don't know what it's called. And I agree with that 100%. Like, I don't like it. Like, I watched that movie with Michelle Williams and the guy from Fantastic Beasts when it came out. And I was so angry. Like, I think it's like My Week with Marilyn or something. I don't know the name of it. I kind of tried to burn it out of my memory from watching it. It made me so angry because, first of all, it's fake. You can say it's based on a true story because Marilyn Monroe did film Prince and the Showgirl in 1957. She didn't have some affair with this guy. She was miserable on the sets. She was not having an affair with some 8th, 2nd director, producer, whatever he was. Nothing, basically. Just happened to be on the set. Like, it wouldn't happen. And it's not okay to just make up stories about somebody like that. And you know why they're allowed to get away with stuff like that? Because you can't slander someone dead. You know, it's literally, you can't slander someone who's dead. If I did a video on Marilyn, I may tie, it may be like a famous couple makeup and misfortune. I could do Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio together as a couple. I could talk about her, I could talk about him, and then I can talk about them separately after their marriage ended. I think I could do that and not be as passionate about it, because I wouldn't be diving deep into Marilyn like that. I think I could probably do Marilyn and Joe DiMaggio together. You know, like, did you know Joe DiMaggio, famous Hall of Fame star baseball player, was on his deathbed watching a baseball game when they announced his death and he wasn't dead. Like, he listened to them announcing his death. That's fucking ridiculous. That's insane. Also, I know I'm gonna get questions like, what would I be going to school for if I got accepted, you know? And I'm not gonna tell you where I would be going to school, obviously. I don't need to do that. That's stupid of me. But I was thinking about getting a general, doing like a lot of general classes at first, and then focusing in on funeral sciences. That does require 2 math classes and accounting, but I think I could do that. Honestly, if we're talking about like long-term, like what would pay the bills, people are always gonna die. That's an industry that's not gonna die because people always die. Sounds negative, sounds bad, but isn't it true? So I would do most of it online, which is good because I'm still trying to make everything else work that I'm have going on, all of my side gigs. And then I would have to do like restorative makeup on faces and embalming and all that good jazz. That would have to be in-class studies. And I don't know if it's on human bodies you're embalming for practice, because some schools do have human cadavers for medical school purposes, or if it would be on fake bodies. I don't know all the details of it, but I think I'm fine with seeing blood. As we know from the stitches, I was in there looking at bone, did not bother me, doesn't faze me. I think I would be pretty good at it. Would I want to embalm a child? No. I think that would probably be messed up. But it's just, it is what it is. I would have to do it on anybody. I wouldn't want to be the embalmer, so when you get a general funeral sciences degree, you go through everything to learn anatomy. You know, you do all your mortician classes, you do all your embalming classes, you do your like funeral home business classes. So you could really do a bunch of things in the funeral home, whether you want to be selling people a casket or an urn, whether you want to work in the crematorium, whether you want to work in embalming and funeral preparation. Like, there's a couple options there. And I thought once I do it and I could just look for a job in that field, I could figure out what is best for me in the actual business setting. I've also considered getting just a regular business degree so I could work on my small business and like know more about marketing and know more about finances and stuff like that, you know? I feel like either one of those routes would be good for me, but at first I gotta get accepted to a college. So we'll see how that works. Okay, so let's be 100% real with you right now. It's kind of embarrassing. It's pretty embarrassing. When I was fresh out of high school, I graduated high school early. I never failed a class. I did really good. I was president of Spanish Honor Society and Spanish Club, and I lost all that from not using it. But I was like on my crap in high school, right? I did really well. I didn't do too great in math classes, but I never failed anything, so I graduated early. And I went straight into working, like real jobs. And I worked in an office and did some secretary work and computer, like data entry work. Well, at that time, while I started doing my first like big girl job, I was going to school online, and I did some in-class classes as well because I didn't know which setting would be best for me. Like, if I was assigned online classes, would I remember to do the work while I'm working? I don't know. So I did both. I did great in the arts classes. I did fine in government. I did fine in history, but I failed so many of the prerequisite math classes that I had to write a letter to the dean of the college asking them to let me continue studying there. Like, I almost got kicked out of community college because I failed so many math classes. It's hella embarrassing, but I'm hoping now as like a serious adult I can take it more seriously, pay better attention, and pass. And I think it's been so long now that those credits are not transferable. So I'll just be starting over, going to college again. But yeah, my brain doesn't math. Like, I can do everything else just fine, but I can't numbers are not my thing. And if I do a business degree, I do a funeral services degree, I'm gonna have to do math classes, I'm gonna have to do accounting, but I'm just gonna have to like really put my heart and soul in and figure it out. All right, guys, so anyways, this is today's look. I don't really love it. I don't have any accessories on right now, but it's fine. I wanted to use the Sigma Beachy palette because like, look at this beautiful green in there. It was kind of what caught my eye on this palette, but I used the browns, the black, and the gold, and the cream today. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with the two blue shimmers in here. I guess I can pair it with the black matte. I don't know. But this is the look. It's not super dewy, but it's not all matte either. I try to use dewy base products, so I feel like my face looks a little more luminous than it would on like a full coverage foundation matte day. I don't know. It looks okay. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. Thanks for listening to me rant. I'm sure it's not everyone's cup of tea when I do videos like this, just talking about what do I want for my life. But you know, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you later. Have a beautiful and safe day wherever you are. Okay, bye guys.